quite hard to explain air strafing without including bunny hopping. Explaining one of these mechanics without at least mentioning the other is almost impossible. However, this video is going to focus on air strafing for the most part. Bunny hopping will be its own video. One of the main difficulties in explaining Source mechanics is that Source is a very versatile engine, and some mechanics don't carry over from game to game. This makes it hard to form a cohesive definition and explanation for its various mechanics. Air strafing is unique in that it appears in almost all Source games, with the exception of a few mods in third-party developed games like Insurgency that use a heavily modified version of the Source engine. Air strafing is a common and very important mechanic found in virtually all Source games, as it allows the player to control their momentum, direction, and speed while in the air. Air strafing is an artifact of the air acceleration system developed for Quake's physics engine that was intentionally left in after its discovery. Since Gold Source was a modified version of Quake's engine, and Source is built from Gold Source, many of these physics artifacts remain in all three engines with a few minor differences. Explaining the mechanics behind why air strafing is possible requires quite a few lessons in vector projection and coding. So instead of explaining all that to you, I'll just include a few explanations in the description for further reading. As for now, I'll just explain the usage and performance of air strafing. As I said before, air strafing is a mechanic found in most Source and Gold Source games. Air strafing is performed rather easily. You simply have to jump, take your finger off W, and simultaneously use your strafe key, A or D, and move your mouse in the according direction, left or right. What this does is allow the player to control themselves in the air. Whether it's to turn and reach a ledge or maneuver between hazards, air strafing is an incredibly helpful tool for the player to use to dynamically navigate the world around them. Air strafing in its most extreme form can be found in surfing, which is something I'll get to eventually. While surfing on specially made maps, players can reach ludicrous velocities and they have to navigate from ramp to ramp. To achieve this, players have to use air strafing to control themselves around the level, whether it's hitting hard turns in midair or trying to squeeze a little bit more distance out of each ramp. One of the most practical examples of air strafing can be found in TF2 with rocket jumping and knockback mechanics. Knowing how to air strafe a rocket hitting you in TF2 can mean the difference between life and death. Last but not least, air strafing is found in bunny hopping. The reason why bunny hopping exists in the first place is due to the inherent properties of air strafing. When performing an air strafe, movement units are applied in the direction of the key press. This is why air strafing creates additional distance and speed. When you press left, right, or back in midair, you can see the added movement distance being applied. Strafing takes advantage of this additional distance applied by the key press by redirecting it forward with the mouse, and bunny hopping comes in when the player lands and jumps before the game can apply friction to slow them down. The positive movement added by air strafes and the lack of friction applied by bunny hopping makes the player continuously gain momentum. Finally, air strafing is used in long jumping, a technique that utilizes multiple air strafes in succession to gain additional distance on jumps. These kind of jumps are commonly found in games like Counter-Strike, where the player has little mobility and needs every extra bit of distance that they can get in order to hit complex boosts and jumps. Air strafing is a versatile technique with many different practical applications in all of the games it's featured in. Not only can it prove useful for map navigation, but it also adds to the fluidity and skill that the Source engine is known for. Thanks for watching. My previous episode was on accelerated backhopping, so check that out if you haven't, and my next episode is probably going to be on surfing or regular bunny hopping, so stay tuned.